Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you clicking on that video as always. If it's your first time here, my name is Gerard George, and on this channel, we actually review fragrances. We talk about all things fragrance. We do comparison videos like the one today. We do lists, we do first impressions, we do rack store hauls, cheapie hauls, pretty much do it all here. So if it's your first time here and you like what you see, please be sure to comment on the video, like it, and subscribe. So today we have a comparison video, and I think these two fragrances, in my opinion, are both 10 out of 10 for me. They're two of my favorites in my collection. They are very similar and they get compared all the time. So I wanted to do a video that hopefully helps you decide if you're on the fence about one or the other on your next purchase. That might help you decide which one that you want to go with. Both of these fragrances are iris heavy fragrances. They focus on the note of iris, super classy scents. They are perfect for night out, special occasions. I am absolutely in love with both of these fragrances. So in my opinion, well, we'll get into that later. The scents I am talking about are Dior Homme Intense, and Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum. Which one are you gonna buy? Hopefully I can help you answer that question. So what I think I'll do is, now I've worn both of these a good amount, so I can speak to pretty quickly what I think of each one, the differences I see in each one. But I'm gonna test them. I'm gonna spray them on strip. I'm gonna put one on each hand, see what I pick up, and we'll talk about them. So I want to get started with the Dior Homme Intense. And what can I say? This is a classic. This is a masterpiece in many people's opinions. And I would have to agree with that. Fantastic atomizer. In the air, immediately I get the iris. As I said in the intro, just both fragrances are super heavy on the iris. Some of the other notes in Dior Homme Intense are lavender, iris, ambrette, pear, Virginia cedar, and vetiver. Oh, this is just a beautiful scent. This is, to me, this is embodies classiness and sophistication. On top of that, being sophisticated, being classy, it's also a very sensual, sexy scent, in my opinion. Really powdery. That iris note is just perfection. I've smelled iris in a lot of fragrances. None of them quite do it like Dior Homme Intense. I actually, not that this scent is overly simplistic, but there's not a whole ton that I pick up when I smell this scent. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have depth or that it's particularly boring. It's not by any means. It just, what it does really well, and it's really well blended as well. In addition to the iris, I do pick up some of that Virginia cedar. So it's a woody floral, and it does change deep in the dry down. I do get more vanilla notes, and then vanilla is not necessarily a note in this, but even in the mid, I do get what comes across as a vanilla note. So it does become a bit creamy. Could be because of that vetiver. There is vetiver in this. I don't particularly pick up what traditionally I smell as vetiver, like the vetiver that you would get from a Terre de Hermes. It could add to that sort of earthy woodiness and also round out the scent and give it a bit of creaminess. But as I said, later in the scent, I do get that vanilla. As far as the pear goes, I don't get much of it, although there is a bit of sweetness to the scent. As far as longevity goes for Dior Homme Intense, I get 8+ hours. I get really good longevity. It really projects well for the first hour and a half or so. And then, it will sit closer to the skin and become more of an intimate scent. Now with Dior Homme Intense, the major comparison that people describe it as is it smells like lipstick. Now, I get that. I can, makeup in general, people will say it smells like a makeup bag. I should start by saying I don't think this is at all feminine. But when we do compare Givenchy Gentleman to this, and I'll get into that when I compare the two, that one is more masculine to me. But that doesn't mean that Dior Homme Intense is not masculine. It's just that powdery note, that lipstick vibe that people get from it, that makeup bag vibe. It can sort of invoke that feeling of, I wouldn't say femininity, but I would say that it is a softer scent. Just really, really beautiful. Again, 10 out of 10 for me. Dior Homme Intense. So this next scent, again, this is another 10 out of 10 as far as my collection goes, in my opinion. The comparisons are legitimate to draw between this scent and Dior Homme Intense, the scent I'm talking about, Gentleman Givenchy Eau de Parfum. Atomizer's pretty good, not as good as Dior's. So right off the top, I think there's a little more to this scent, where in Dior Homme Intense, I get a lot of iris. In this, I get a little bit more. There's lavender in this, there's iris, orris root in this case, which is iris, and black pepper. So those are the things that stand out to me on first spray. There is bergamot in this. I get very little of it, a bit. It's this, if it's there, it doesn't last very long. I also get more of an ambery feel from this, from the benzoin. So this isn't nearly as powdery as the Dior Homme Intense. And I do get a bit of spiciness. There is cinnamon in this, there is cloves. If I had to sort of describe Gentleman Givenchy EDP, I would say that it's a cross between Bentley from Men Intense and Dior Homme Intense. It has sort of a boozy feel to it. Although there is no booze note officially listed, it has sort of that driving power that Bentley from Men Intense does. But you also get that iris. And this also has a leather feel to me, but it doesn't have a leather note that I know of. After a few minutes of spraying this, that tonka starts to come out. So I do get more vanilla in this earlier in the scent than I do in the Dior Homme Intense. And I think there's some sweetness coming from that tonka. There's also black vanilla listed as a note in this. So as far as longevity goes, I also get 8+ hours from Gentleman Givenchy. And really, on both fragrances, I can still smell it on my hand 10+ hours later. So it's a skin scent at that point, but still can pick it up. Man, I love this one too. At this point of testing them off the strip, I don't think they'd be redundant in your collection. So I think owning each, they would both serve a purpose. Off the strip, I get more powdery iris from the Dior, and I get black pepper, iris, and some sweetness from the vanilla in the Givenchy Gentleman. Let's try them on skin. Let's air them out. On this end, I have the Dior Givenchy Gentleman. Okay, so off my skin, from the Dior side, I get a bit more woods from the cedar, but that iris is still there. It's still really heavy, and I still get a lot of powderiness. But I will say the woods sort of balance it out a bit more than what I get off from the strip. I also get a bit of that lavender, not super heavy, not sharp or anything. This is so well blended. It's just perfect. From the Givenchy, I get that iris. I get more of the bergamot off of my skin, so a bit more of that citrus. I'm also picking up way more of the clove and cinnamon. So this is more warm, spicy to me off of the skin. A bit more of the patchouli as well. So as I said before from the strip, and again, I don't want to say that Dior Homme Intense is overly simplistic. It just is really great at what it does, and that's the iris. Givenchy Gentleman, it's also has that iris note, and it's going to be familiar. They're going to smell similar, but it has a little more going on. The Givenchy is a bit sweeter to me, but that could just be because it has that sort of boozy note to it. And there's, as I said, there's nothing officially listed. And I also get a bit of leather from my skin as well. Okay, so Dior Homme Intense and Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum. I will say I'm not going to pick one that I prefer over the other because I love them both. And that's just the truth. I love them both. I think they both have a purpose, and they serve a purpose in every collection. To me, Dior Homme Intense is a bit more, I don't want to say special occasion, but it's not as versatile as Givenchy Gentleman. Givenchy Gentleman, I would imagine getting more wear out of. They're just both so damn good. And my wife actually prefers Givenchy Gentleman over Dior Homme, although she really likes both. So, and I actually let my mom smell them as well. And my mother preferred Dior Homme Intense over Givenchy Gentleman. So, neither to me is particularly mature smelling or, I think any guy with his crap together can pull these off, and they are going to make you smell more put together. They are classy scents. They are perfect for special occasions. They are perfect for dinner out, dressed up. It just, these are masterpieces, in my opinion. They're both fantastic. As they've dried down a bit, I'm getting more vanilla from Givenchy, and I'm still getting that iris powderiness and the Virginia cedar from Dior Homme Intense. So as far as price goes, the Dior is going to be a bit more expensive. I will also say the Dior Homme Intense is going to be a bit harder to get. Sells out really quickly, but if you look hard enough, you can get it for a decent price at online discounters. I will try to link them below if they're available. I know the Givenchy Gentleman will most likely be available. The Dior, I'm not too sure, but I will try to link that down below in the description to hopefully get you the best deal. Just to sort of wrap it up, I love both of these. I think I'm going to make the Dior my scent of the day. Oh, so good, guys. As I said, not redundant in any collection. You can own both. Hopefully this helped you. Hopefully this is pushing you more in one direction over the other. I think the big takeaway from the two is that if you're on a budget and you want to have a more stripped down collection, the Givenchy is probably the way to go. It's a bit more versatile. I think you can wear it in more situations, and it has a little bit more going on. And if you want to just own a 10 out of 10 fragrance masterpiece in many people's opinions in the community, then Dior Homme Intense may be the way to go. But if you can, test both, try them both, and see which one you prefer. That's all I have today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's videos. If it was helpful, let me know in the comment section below. Which one of these do you prefer? Do you own both? What are your thoughts on the two fragrances we discussed today? Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, hit that bell notification so you are updated whenever I upload new content. But until then, I will see you in the next video.